Here is a summary of all the data from this website. The people of Benin were called Benis from today in Nigeria. However, they called themselves the Edos. They had many artisans, metalsmiths, wood carvers, and etc. jobs in the royal palace which they would stay. They were taught their history by listening to storytellers and listening to the history of their past. Now, there wasn't a written language. There wasn't a written language until the Portuguese came over in the 1400s and was also well run. The king, or Oba, of Benin society was the head and top of the civilization. Under him, or equal to him, was the Uzama, which was a body of hereditary chiefs that chose the Oba. And under one of the greatest Obas, Oba Ewer, he tried to reduce the Uzama's power, and palace chiefs and different types of chiefs. And he, with this power, expanded the empire to 190 miles, or 300 kilometers. In these expansions, the slaves taken were treated much differently than European civilizations. They could marry a daughter of a household and would no longer be considered a slave. Also, they could work off the price of their existence and then be free. However, some of them still were traded in the transatlantic slave trade. Once the Portuguese started to impact the Benin people, there's a tremendous effect on the Benin culture. When the Portuguese came, they didn't take in consideration what they were doing to the society. And one of the things that they did is they went and came in and spread Christianity to all the West Africans instead of leaving them alone. And from this, 60% of all Christians in West Africa were from this. And from this, now 60% of all West Africans are Christian. And before the Portuguese exploration, the natives were hunters and gatherers. But when the Portuguese did come, they influenced the natives to trade, create, and sell cotton, tobacco, cocoa, rubber, palm oil, and coffee. Their trading also included ivory and slaves. In return, the Benin people received guns and other European goods. And the guns were completely important because this made it able to guns were vastly important because it made it possible for the Edo people to expand their empire and then get more slaves, creating the transatlantic slave trade. Now, the transatlantic slave trade was monopolized by the Portuguese from 1400s to the 1600s. And most of this occurred in West Central, where 4,179,500 slaves exported. And most of these slaves went to Brazil, where most of these slaves, 4 million of these slaves went to Brazil, the largest importer.